Today's First Alert afternoon weather update is brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
Good afternoon and welcome and happy Friday. Hopefully you've been able to get outside and enjoy the nice weather. First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips is going to be talking about our forecast going into a holiday weekend. And if you're saying, wait, what holiday? Valentine's Day is coming. So hopefully your sweetheart isn't too disappointed that it might be sneaking up on you. But we are here with your First Alert forecast to help you make some plans here. And then you can make sure that they are treated well as we go into the weekend. I think Mother Nature is also going to be treating us with a pretty good forecast. So we're happy to see that. Starting out today, we are finding that we have a little bit of cloud cover throughout parts of mid-Michigan. We do have some sun though, so if you are willing to take a road trip, you can find those sunnier conditions. We're currently seeing a little bit of lake effect, kind of a weak system that's just kind of hanging off towards our north. So that's been bringing some snow coming across the northern portions of the lower peninsula. So we are going to continue to track that as that pushes across. Overall, we haven't seen much, maybe a couple of flurries at best, but it's been pretty quiet here. It's just the cloud cover. We're seeing that from Gladwin through northern Bay County and then cutting across, coming towards Cairo, Sandusky, and then further north is where we are seeing that cloud cover. So that's just going to continue to be something that we do track here for today. Overall, the coverage of the snowfall not going to be all that strong because again, we are just kind of picking up. We have a trough coming through, so it's just a little push of energy, and that's allowing for those snow showers to swing across. So we are finding though that the further south you go, we do have some sunshine here. This is our Vehicle City Harley-Davidson camera showing the brighter skies. Actually, not even any clouds as we look towards the south. So there is a little bit of variation through mid-Michigan on who's experiencing what, whether it be the clouds or the sunshine. So these conditions, we'll just kind of keep an eye to them here as we go into the afternoon. I'm going to try to bring up another camera to see if we can check in on some of those clouds. So as I try to bring that up though, just know that it's kind of the further south and west you go where you are going to have that better clearing coming through. Of course, not everybody is even going to be picking up on those flurries that we are seeing further north. The camera I'm trying to bring up is going to be our Houghton Lake camera. So yeah, you can see definitely a little different here. Not a lot of sunshine. We still have the ice shanties out. We'll be wanting to keep an eye to those here through the weekend because we will find that we do have those temperatures that are warming up. So the cloud cover also probably hindering those temperatures as well to where we are only at 35 into Houghton Lake. So we are just above freezing. Into the thumb where we are picking up on the clouds, we're only at 32 for Bad Axe and Caseville, 33 in Harbor Beach, and 34 in Port Sanilac. We are finding Saginaw's at 37 and then 40 degrees for Mount Pleasant and Owasso. So the sunshine helping out some, not seeing a huge difference. We're seeing maybe a difference of about 5 degrees compared to the locations that have some sun compared to those who are working through the clouds. So this is kind of still our transition day. We are still on track to see those temperatures warming up. Our temperature trend has also still with that system kind of pushing through here this afternoon has been bringing a little more cloud cover for our Saturday forecast. So because of that, we did just trim that forecast high down to 39. So we were at 40, 41, we're down to 39. So it's only been a couple of degrees that we've been kind of fine tuning the forecast, but we do still have 40s on track. Now I did still want to show this, even though that 52 degrees, we do not have that in the forecast, but I left it here because we do have the chance to see some 50s. The opportunity is there for us. I do think that a lot of us are going to still remain into the 40s as we go into next week, but with this warmer air, there is the chance that we do see a little bit of a warm up. As I had mentioned, we have some sunshine for us today, but we are going to be watching for some cloud cover going into the weekend. We just again have that small disturbance that's coming in from the north. We also have one coming in from the south through the weekend. So we are going to keep it dry because neither one of those systems are going to be coming to mid-Michigan, but they're going to be around mid-Michigan. So because of that north and south, we still can have some clouds thrown our direction. So that's why we are adding some of that cloud cover here for Saturday and Sunday. Even into Monday, I was trying to kind of keep us into those partly cloudy skies. So I'm going to be optimistic, though, that we still have some sun here. I am going to hold on to a little more sunshine in this forecast, but I am going to be watching the systems pretty closely to see how far north they do want to throw some of those clouds in our direction. For your Saturday, I mentioned it is Valentine's Day weekend, so we are going to have temperatures that are going to be into the upper 30s. We'll be looking at partly to mostly sunny skies, so we are going to introduce a little more cloud cover, but hoping to still keep some sunshine in if you're going to be outside with your Valentine. Southwest winds going to be fairly light, at times maybe picking up towards 5-10 miles per hour. Looking at the entire weekend, though we only have that high at 39 for Saturday, Sunday we're still on track to see mid-40s. We have 43 in there. Also, both days, still looking at a good chance for some sunshine. Yes, there still can be some clouds around. It's February, and winter clouds are always hard to get rid of, especially with the Great Lakes being around. So we are going to be finding that we have some sunshine, but we're still just going to be monitoring the chance for that cloud cover. As I had mentioned here through the weekend, we are going to want to be keeping an eye to some of the ice conditions. So just know if you're going to be taking maybe a snowmobile out there or an ATV, four-wheeler, just make sure that it is thick enough to support it. Be monitoring for any cracks because we've had that large crack over Lake Erie. So though we do still have some good ice coverage, we are still finding that we still are going to have that ice breaking. Thankfully, the winds aren't going to be super strong to have kind of that ice flow issue. But we still are just going to be monitoring for some of those ice safety concerns. So just kind of keep that in mind if you want to head out on the water. Zooming into Saginaw Bay, you will see that we still have a lot of that fast ice, meaning kind of some breaks that are in there. So just be mindful about leaving your ice shanties there. We may just see some changes here. So I know that the river is still frozen, not seeing a lot of water coming through, but just keep in mind of those changing conditions because we did have reported into the newsroom that the Coast Guard, they do not have their airboat going. So the closest boat that's going to be able to come in for rescue will be coming from Traverse City. So that's why we want everybody to be cautious because rescue plans are a little bit different because of those boat changes. So make sure that you are being mindful so that we don't even need to go into that rescue category. Another thing to kind of keep in mind with the temperatures that we have is weight restrictions. We are seeing some of those come in from Genesee County. MDOT has also released some seasonal weight restrictions. So if you are going to be hauling anything extremely heavy here, or maybe you are a semi-truck driver, just kind of keep in mind some of those restrictions that are going to be going in place here this weekend, and then if those are going to be on and off. So you can also see some of those at WNEM.com, and the MDOT ones are listed on our website, so you can get a little more information there. Looking at the 7-day forecast, as mentioned, we are looking at above average temperatures. We will see that we have still that 39 for Saturday, but otherwise we have 40s for much of the weekend and into next week, and no snowmakers. So we really don't have too much to first alert you to besides the sunshine, which we're okay with that. But we do have another system that's going to set up on Wednesday. The center of the storm has been kind of adjusting north or south, which is pretty common here when we're talking 6 to 7 days away from this storm. So we are going to be watching because with that rain snow line in, as that low moves, we can see some differences. So just be mindful that there could be some fine tuning and some changes coming in for that Wednesday forecast. Though we start out with mid-40s, you can see it does start to bring in some cooler air behind it on Thursday. So we are keeping the rain and snow possibilities there. We're going to be watching how the system evolves. It hasn't even actually developed, so we don't even have weather balloons that have sampled it yet. So that's why we're still giving you the first alert that we see this wave that's going to be coming in and can have those impacts. However, we just don't have the fine-tuned details at this point because we haven't even sampled the storm yet. So that is just something to kind of keep in mind after the weekend. So if you kind of unplug here through the weekend, just know that you'll want to be checking into the First Alert weather app as we get a little bit closer to that Wednesday time frame. If you don't have the First Alert weather app, here's that QR code to get that downloaded onto your devices. If you have an iPad, a tablet, you're going to want to make sure that you can get that on your devices. So again, that's free to download. You can get that on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. So if you already have it, you just make sure that it's updated. They're always kind of running updates to make sure that we have the latest technology there. Now, we do also have this weekend a local event going on that can help you to get outside. We're going to be talking about birding. We had a viewer let us know some of the events that are going on this weekend. So we are going to take a quick 1-minute break, and we're going to be back to talk about the events that are going on in the birding world this weekend. Welcome back. As was mentioning before the break, we do have a local event going on for folks who like to do a little bit of bird watching, and your help is needed to count those birds. So we had Peggy Ridgway reach out to us and say, hey, this is going on this weekend. People need to know about it. So I was able to interview her yesterday to kind of get the happenings, why we're doing this in February, and kind of how all of that works. So if you have even a little bit of free time here this weekend, or even have a little bit of interest in our feathered friends, you're going to want to listen here to our interview. So take a listen. Peggy is with the Asable Valley Audubon Association. So she's been with the group there for decades. So make sure that you hang on here and listen to what they have coming up here this weekend. Joining us today is Peggy. She's with the Asable Valley Audubon Association. We're happy to have you, Peggy.
Thank you, Diane, and pleasure to be here.
Perfect. Now we are going to be kind of getting into spring here soon. This weekend, we're seeing that the forecast is a little bit warmer. Maybe people are going to be outside, and this is some pretty good timing because tell us what's going on in the birding world this weekend.
We have the Great Backyard Bird Count going on from this Friday all the way through Monday, and February 13th through the 16th, and it'll mark the 29th annual Great Backyard Bird Count, which has flown the world to worldwide now and involves over 200 countries and provinces.
Wow, so this is more than just something that's happening here in mid-Michigan. So this is happening this weekend, but I would have thought that this would happen, say, in March rather than February. So why so maybe early in the season?
Well, usually at this time of the year, birds get their hormones become involved, and this helps spark that massive movement from one point, and sometimes in South America, excuse me, up to here in North America. And it's sponsored by Cornell Lab of Ornithology, Audubon, Birds Canada, and Wild Birds Unlimited.
And why is this so important to partake in this event this weekend?
Well, through the aid of modern technology, plus thousands of observers reporting all over the earth, researchers are able to get a quick snapshot of where birds are, plus their populations, just prior to their massive global migrations to spring and summer breeding grounds. Right. And for birds like our hummingbirds, orioles, and warblers, the journey from where they are in the winter in South America to us here in North America can take a month or more. And that's why the count is held in February before they begin the trek north.
Because where are some of these birds coming from for people who don't know their migration patterns?
Most of them are coming from the South America, okay? And we have the Arctic tern, which is a bird that nests in the North Atlantic and the Arctic, and it migrates all the way down to the South Atlantic. And so it sometimes migrates over 40,000 miles each year. It's an amazing fleet that bird takes.
Yeah, that's a lot of miles.
It's a lot of miles
to be flying.
Yes.
So if people want to partake in this, how do they go about doing that?
Well, and let me back up here just a little bit. Last year, participants, because worldwide it was noted, tallied over 8,000 species, with nearly 800 in the United States alone. However, worldwide, there are nearly 11,000 species, so we may have missed some. But people may count for one or all 4 days for at least 15 minutes each day. Some may choose to only watch their yard feeders, but you can also search your neighborhood, area woodlands, or along any open waters if you can find them. Some of our waters are still frozen, but people don't forget that ducks, geese, and swans are birds and do need to be counted. A lot of times we just look at the ones that are in the trees or in the fields around us, but those water birds definitely count. And you can submit your observations online to birdcount.org. If you don't already have a password to submit your findings, it's easy to get one. If you're a beginner at this, Cornell has an online webinar that will teach you how to do all this. Okay?
Okay, I was wondering, do we have to take a picture of it? Do we need to be listening for any specific sounds for birds?
No, but a lot of people who do know bird sounds, for instance, crows. A lot of people know a crow, but they know they can hear it, but they can't see it. So in that case, you can report it. A lot of people know various bird sounds, and right now they aren't making a lot of sounds, and they're just beginning the last couple of days with these warm-ups. They are beginning, the woodpeckers are, and then owls are making some of their calls. So even if you aren't able to be close enough to see the bird, just hearing it and you know that sound, you can count it.
That is good to know. Is there any other additional details that people need to be aware of for this event coming up this weekend?
Well, one thing, since Valentine's Day is Saturday, you could elaborate on your love for the birds by doing this count. And also, if you are reporting birds at your feeder, I would suggest that the next couple days or the next day or so, take note during the time to see which the birds are most active at your feeders. And then that will give you a better count. Because mine, I find, are between like 11 and 12:30 the last couple days. My feeders are pretty busy. So sometimes early in the morning, they aren't so busy, but check out that time your feeders are busy and you'll get a good count.
That is some good advice. And for folks who are maybe busy this weekend, but do want to get involved and do a little bit of birding, whether it be in mid-Michigan or across the state, how do they get in touch with the Asable Valley Audubon Association?
Well, we will be having the at Tawas Point Birding Festival again this year. And so they can check out the information on AsaboValleyAudubon.com.
That is perfect. Well, thank you so much, Peggy, for your
Okay.
time today. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much.
And we want to thank Peggy for helping us out with that story and just letting us know about the Great Backyard Bird Count here this weekend. So again, if you do want to participate, where the resources that you'll want to head to birdcount.org. That's where you can go and submit that information if you have some time here this weekend. Again, a lot to learn there. So if you do want to kind of recap this, you can replay it at our WNEM Facebook page. You can also on the WNEM YouTube page replay it. And I also believe it is going to be on our Roku and Fire Stick channels if you are streaming. So if you do a little bit of searching, I believe the interview is also going to be headed there as well. So hopefully the weather can hold here to where we can get outside, do a little bit of birding, and have a little bit of fun here going into the weekend. Of course, for all your weekend weather needs, just a reminder to download that First Alert Weather app. That's going to be the best tool to make sure that you can check in with the First Alert Weather team here through the weekend and stay updated on the latest weather happenings. But thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you have a wonderful Friday evening and a happy Valentine's Day to you all.
Thank you for joining us. Today's stream has been brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.